And we are back. Welcome to my preview and prediction for the final of the Women's Euros. It is finally time. The last game of the tournament is here, which means, of course, this is the final video of this series. And as always, I want to start by saying a massive thank you to everyone that has got involved in this series over the course of the last few weeks. You still have time to get your comments in for this video. Let me know down in the comments what you think is going to happen in this final. Let me know what's been your favourite moment of this women's tournament so far. And of course, as always, don't forget to drop a like on this video if you've enjoyed this series. Share it with a friend to get as many people involved in this final as possible. It's going to be a big occasion for women's football, this one. And of course, as we look ahead to a brand new season on the channel, don't forget to subscribe with notifications turned on. We've got a whole host of series coming up for you this year. Premier League predictions returning, La Liga predictions returning from the start of the season. We're going to have all the other leagues covered on the membership side of things. You can see at the bottom it says click the join button. If you want to gain access to my predictions for Serie A, Bundesliga and Ligue 1, I'll be doing them over on the members side of things on the community page. We've been doing Champions League predictions for members only as well. But not only that, we're going to start doing live streams again. If I've got time to do the reactions to the Manchester United games, we're going to be doing live streams for the Manchester United games and the England games next season as well. And as always, let me know what else you want to see on this channel. We've got a big season coming up, which of course includes the return of fantasy football. So a final bit of admin for me. Fantasy football code is available for the start of the new Premier League season on your screen right now. And a link will be available in the comments of this video as well. So make sure you get involved with all of that. But as for today, I've rambled on long enough already. We have a massive final to talk about. It is England and it is Spain. England looking to defend their European Championships against the world champions. It's a massive game. The two favourites for the tournament coming into it, facing off against each other in the final. You can see at the top of the screen, we are 20 out of 30 for the women's predictions so far. I think that's a pretty good tournament. We got 1 out of the 2 semi-finals correct. I did England. I did actually do Germany for the other semi-final, but it was a very close affair, as we're about to talk about. So without any further ado, let's get straight into it. England and Spain, two sides with a hell of a lot of major competition recent history. They played each other in the quarter-final of the Euros 3 years ago. On that occasion, England beat Spain 2-1 in extra time, and as we all know, went on to win the final at Wembley 3 years ago. They then met just 1 year later on the grandest stage in the ball in Sydney, Australia, the World Cup final. England against Spain once again. On that occasion, it was Spain coming out on top with a 1-0 victory. England coming up short, were winning the biggest prize. But then they also did meet in the Nations League this year, playing in England in February, playing in Spain last month. But I'll leave that one for now because we'll talk about that a little bit later. But what we're going to talk about now is how they've actually got to this position. Because as I said, these were the two favourites coming into this tournament. However, they were due to meet earlier on in this competition if things went the way people expected. However, England have really struggled in this tournament, it has to be said. It sounds a bit daft to say that because they're in the final, but they only finished runners-up in their group. They needed penalties to get past Sweden. They needed extra time after a 96th minute equaliser to get past Italy, whereas Spain, realistically, have had an absolute breeze to get to this situation. They won their group, winning every single game. They eased past Switzerland despite missing 2 penalties in that game. And although Germany put up one hell of a fight, they still got the job done in the end with their Ballon d'Or winner, Aitana Bonmati, catching the goalkeeper out, slipping it in the near post. It was an absolute goalkeeping howler as far as I'm concerned. It was Spain's toughest game of the tournament so far, but they won that as well. So for me, coming into this, Spain absolutely are the favourites for this match. Like I say, they've literally won every single game in this tournament. They've actually won their last 10 matches in a row, whereas England technically have lost to France in this tournament. They've drawn with Sweden in this tournament and needed a last-minute penalty to get past Italy in the semi-final as well. And if you actually look at the teams they've come up against, England have had an easier run to this final, arguably on paper, than Spain have, because in my opinion, Germany tougher opposition than what England have had to face so far. So when you put all of that together and the fact that Spain on paper do have a much stronger squad than England, it's unsurprising that Spain do come into this as the absolute favourites for it. Speaking of the squads, we now obviously have to talk about the team lineups, and to be fair, there are a couple of question marks surrounding both teams coming into this. We'll start off with England, who England fans obviously crying out for Super Chloe Kelly to get the start, especially when you consider the fact that Lauren James went off with an ankle injury at half-time, and there's reports that Ella Toone picked up a slight injury in that semi-final as well. Surely Chloe Kelly deserves to have her start in this one. Then you still have the concerns over Leah Williamson, obviously going off in the quarter-final with an ankle injury, then going off again due to probably it hurting a bit in the semi-final as well. Is she going to be available for the final? I would expect that she is. And then, of course, the big question as well, will Michelle Adjeman get a start after an immediate impact in both the quarterfinal and the semi-final? She's been heroic in both matches. Does she deserve to have a start? Should that be with Alessia Russo or should that be instead of Alessia Russo? Ultimately, we know how Sarina Wiegman behaves. She likes to stick with the same lineup. We said it ahead of the semi-final. We said it ahead of the quarterfinal. I don't expect her to change it. I think if James is fit, if Toone is fit, if Williamson is fit, I think she will pick the exact same starting 11 that started against Italy. But we shall see. I hope Kelly gets the start. She absolutely deserves it. As for Spain, we of course would expect them to name the same lineup that played in their semi-final against Germany, with one exception, with of course Alexandri, should I say, coming back into the starting lineup after being suspended for that semi-final. Although, that being said, Paraguelo and Athena both made big impacts off the bench in that game against Germany. Athena setting up, of course, Bon Matti's goal. So maybe we could see a couple of changes from Spain. So ultimately, I would realistically expect it to be a very, very similar lineup for England and a very, very similar lineup for Spain. But who knows? After what happened in the World Cup final a couple of years ago, maybe Wiegman will spring the surprise, make wholesale changes, and give Spain something different to worry about. Finally then, we'll cycle back round to it. I did say we'd come back to it. Those two matches that were played between these two sides this year in the Nations League. England won 1-0 at Wembley back in February. Spain won 2-1 last month in Espanyol's RCDC Stadium. So Spain have the recent head-to-head advantage. They have the momentum on their side. They have the better players on their side. And also what's really concerning for England is those two wins in the Euros and in the Nations League were both games that were being played at home. The win in the Euros was at the Amex Stadium in Brighton, and obviously the game earlier on this year was at Wembley. Their defeats to Spain have both come away from home, which obviously this game is. It's being played in Switzerland. So for me, I have to go for a Spain victory here. I hope and I pray that England do get this job done. But I have to do this job as realistically as I possibly can. And I do think Spain are the overwhelming favourites once again. I do think England will score. England always score. They find a way to get a goal from one place or another. So I do think England can score. The important thing is, can they get that first goal? Spain have only been behind in this tournament for 4 minutes. Across all their matches, they've only been behind for 4 minutes. England have to get the first goal. I think England could force extra time, but again, I think Spain are just too strong for them. They proved it earlier on this year, and I think they're going to prove it once again in this final. I'm going to go for 2-1 to Spain. Again, I hope I'm wrong. I think the Lionesses have a really good chance, but realistically, this is actually an easier game for Spain to win than the Germany game was, because England's style of play is still to play possession themselves, go for it, create chances, whereas Germany will very much sit in deep, try and stifle Spain as much as possible, and try and hit them on the counter. I do think the way we play suits the way Spain plays much better. So ultimately, I think Spain will come out on top. But as always, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Can the Lionesses make it back-to-back European Championships, or will it be back-to-back final defeats against Spain? And will Spain become both European and world champions with this result? As always, thank you so much for watching. It's been an unbelievable series. It's been an unbelievable tournament. We will obviously have a post-match reaction to whatever happens. Hopefully, it will be a celebration and not a commiseration. But as always, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you very soon.